There's a certain individual in the USA who's called for people to stop going to Hajj and Umrah.
Because money is going to be going into the Saudi economy. This is an American who are paying taxes in America.
Allah says in the Quran, who is worse than the one who prevents people from going to the Kaaba?
Moving on. Mickey Mouse degrees.
So the numbers were almost the same of having a degree versus not having a degree that are on universal credit.
So then the discussion came to, would a MMA fighter beat a bodybuilder?
That's a silly question. I can't lie, I actually think it's more practical to be ripped than to be able to fight.
Practical for what? The strong believer is more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. That includes
but
strength
when
of
we
the
talk about
iman,
strength,
physical
That is
strength.
strength though. That is strength. If you grab a bodybuilder and an average man, average guy's getting smoked. So it's still a level of strength to it.
If I
the
say you
training.
have to choose between one or the other, go with the fighting. But one thing that I would say though,
I disagree.
I just do not see how lifting heavy things in strange positions and stuffing your face.
I think there's a potential scrap on the way.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Guys, welcome back to Chai with my Bai. This is your favorite podcast in the Muslim space where we elevate the intellect of the Muslims. This week, we're diving deep into what's brewing around the world. There's been a lot of very interesting things that are going to spark some healthy conversation here amongst us and hopefully for your benefit. So we're going to dive into current developments with regards to what's happening from a media perspective with regards to our brothers and sisters' plight in Gaza. There's a lot of things that seems to be changing in terms of the tide going against the Zionists, with President Trump coming out actually acknowledging what's happening to our brothers and sisters. And we're going to reflect on that. There's been a call to boycott Hajj and Umrah, right? Which we're going to talk about as well. We've got Mickey Mouse degrees in the UK, which we're going to dive into, indicating perhaps that going to university is no longer anywhere as beneficial as it has been made to seem. We're going to talk about AI and how entrepreneurs can use AI to actually just elevate their game and their income. And finally, there's a debate around what's better, bodybuilding or mixed martial arts. What are the pros and cons of both? We have friends on both sides of that argument, inshallah ta'ala, so no beef. We are going to talk and just, share our views and our perspectives. So with that said, Bakr, man, obviously this situation in Gaza has been going on for over 150 years now, close to 150 years. Things have really kind of spiraled out of control since this war began on the 7th of October 2023. And our brothers and sisters have been murdered in cold blood, bro. Children been getting killed for a minute now. But now it just seems like the Zionist lobby is starting to lose its hand on the situation. So what's the recent developments that are showing that perhaps the tide is starting to go in the opposite direction now?
I mean, to be honest with me, I'm always a little bit skeptical with these things. A lot of it's just for show. A lot of it's just words. There's no real substance behind it. If they really wanted to, bro, there's so much more that could have been done. That should have been done a long time ago. Now they come in and saying, like the UK, Canada, these countries are saying France, they were going to recognize Palestine as a state. Bro, what does that do? Unless Israel does X, Y, and Z. Trump, as you mentioned, so he went against the Israeli narrative. So in Israel, they were saying that there's no starvation, there's no famine in Gaza. He came out and said, no, there is. Like, those kids in his videos, they actually look very hungry. And then he sent his envoy, Steve Witkoff, over to Gaza. But they went and said, wow, this is amazing. They're doing great work. They're handing out food and over 1 million meals have been distributed. So my point is, it's just part and parcel of the game, innit? They just keep talking. It's typical politics. Just talk the talk and hope that people don't cause too much of an issue. Whatever you need to say, just to keep the temperature down. Just do that.
Murrad, I see you agreeing with Bakr there.
Yeah.
Do you think this stuff is useless? Not useless, but it's just kalam.
I've seen tides go one way, change with the other. I've seen people often act in that control opposition manner, where it's like, oh yeah, I agree what's going on is wrong, or, kind of be on the fence, whether that's damaging relationships. Because it's been going on for so long, there's genocidal experts that have spoken on it. There's a lot of people that are even, used to be quite far right and supportive and diehard that are now like, I don't even know if I can still support this. And because there's so much media coverage on it, the UN have spoken about it and said, hey, we classify this, as a breach of international law, war crimes. Everything has objectively been said, and the rhetoric has been forced, right? Oh, they have a right to defend themselves. Like, they're not holding...
I don't really hear that being mentioned too tough now.
A bit less, yeah. It's like it's hard to say to displace people is a form of defense. Like, it's very hard to keep pushing this rhetoric of human shields. People need to we're here to defend ourselves. Like, once you're enforcing displacement. Once you're actually moving people from one location to another, like, it's hard to push that rhetoric.
And remember, like, they will always say the lowest thing that's acceptable at that time. So now you're right, it's become unacceptable now. You get cancelled if you do something that's... I'll give you an example. There's a group called the Nelk Boys in America. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're basically this group.
Yeah,
and
idiots.
They go out and do all sorts.
Yeah,
so they did an interview with Benjamin Netanyahu. Right? And their position is, we don't know what's going on. We're ignorant. We don't know. So they interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu, and bro, they got, even from their right-wing, young teenage college boy following, but they got grilled. Like, why the hell are you being one? So then what they did was, next week they brought on that Bassam Youssef guy, and they did an interview with him. And it's like damage control. And one of them wasn't even, he was just sitting there, he was quiet the whole time, he didn't say a single word. And it's all just damage control. And my point is, these guys will just say whatever they can without crossing the line that will not get them in trouble with the fan base, will also appease, their masters. What I think is actually a benefit that I took from all of this is, I believe you should never be extreme in your love or hatred towards an individual, because you don't know where they're going to be tomorrow. Tucker Carlson is a prime example of that, for example. I'm not saying he's an ally of the Muslims by any long shot.
Who is Tucker Carlson? People might not be aware.
So he was a very right-wing, a media presenter for Fox News for a long time. And while he was there, he was like, typical, bigoted, right-wing guy that you'd see, right? He'd talk about Islam in a very negative way and all these other things. And he got fired, I think. Did he get fired? I think he got fired for whatever reason, and then he went independent. And now it's like, he doesn't say it, but he comes across very anti-Israel. And to some degree, almost pro-Islam. Now, I'm not saying he's actually pro-Islam himself. I believe he's got his own agenda and his own reasons why he's anti-Israel. But my point is that you should never completely write someone off or completely follow and love someone, even like us. Don't get too attached to us. We're still living people. You don't know what our manhaj is going to be tomorrow. You don't know what our aqidah is going to be tomorrow. Love what you see from us, that's right. Hate what you see from us, that's evil. And then tomorrow, if we ever end up falling off, alhamdulillah, you know that these guys, they're not up on the haqq anymore. Don't associate with individuals and personalities, associate with the truth. My man's speaking the truth now. So we associate with that. We respect that. And sometimes we become, because you hate someone or what they stand for, you then end up shutting everything. Like there are people probably still, because they hate Tucker Carlson and they're on the left side, they're Democrats, they're not going to listen to him, even though what he's saying now is the truth. That makes sense.
For me, Jordan Peterson was another example like that. Because I used to...
People liked him, huh?
Yeah.
Bro, I used to like him.
Until he said what he said. I've been searching for a halal investment opportunity with high returns for over 15 years. And other than Bitcoin, regretfully, I never found anything solid. The opportunities I found always had one of three issues. It was either haram disguised as halal, or it was super risky and volatile, or it had painfully low returns. I'm talking the type where they mentioned you make your first million when you're 50. But that all changed when I interviewed the most impressive real estate investor I've ever met, Brother Sam Amin. I interviewed him on my podcast, Righteous and Rich. And he blew my mind away with a halal real estate investment opportunity where he's helping his investors get 50% returns in 2 years. Allahumma barik. In fact, some of the most well-known students of knowledge and well-respected businessmen have invested with him and made hundreds of thousands and even millions. Allahumma barik. And get this, it's actually halal. There are no dodgy fatwas. There's no tricks. It's 100% halal. But there is a catch. There's always a catch. The catch is you have to have at least $100,000 liquid ready to invest within the next 30 days to qualify for his current development project in Dubai, where it's projected that he's going to be giving 50% returns to his investors over a 2-year period, inshallah. So if you're interested and you'd like to book a call with this team, you can do so at the link below. But just a heads up, if you don't have the $100,000 ready to deploy in 30 days, they won't take that call. With that said, let's get into the podcast.
So there was a few tweets that he kind of made, give them hell, this, that. And he was super like, oh, they have the right to defend themselves. And the thing is, when people like that are as intellectual as he is, right, I hold them to account of, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like there's this rhetoric of
100%.
human shields, this and
You
that,
know what
and
that means.
like, bro,
You
like
know what it is.
if someone held your wife in front of them and they're like, oh yeah, we need to we need to shoot through her to get to him, no one's gonna be like, yeah, that's cool. You're gonna be like, no, we need to tactically, with hostages, there's way to go. This is indiscriminate at this point. When there's more babies, children getting murdered, it's like, so when I see people like that continue down that rhetoric, I was just like, I'm done with him. And it's kind of sad, but there's a lot of people like that.
Me personally, my take on these recent developments, I'm actually very optimistic. And I actually believe that Allah is showing us some amazing signs right now. And I'll explain why. There's this concept of there's an elite that run the world and they're just impregnable. This narrative is kind of pushed where it's like this.
Dark state.
There's
Deep state, sorry.
There's not just in America, but there's an elite that runs the world and they're against us and they're impregnable, bro. And one of the things that I realized that when you actually just look at what these men do and how they're made up and a little bit about their history, you actually start to see they're a lot more human than actually come across. It seems that this elite army of Dajjal and Shaitan and you just can't play with them. Actually, bro, they're extremely, extremely human. And there's a lot of opportunity for error. And there has been error. It's just that we're not in a position where we can capitalize on that. So looking at the Zionist lobby, because I'm just looking at it from a historical lens right now. Actually, bro, it's not been all roses.
Are you talking about AIPAC?
I'm talking about, so AIPAC is an interest group that makes up a wider Zionist lobby. So there's a bunch of different organizations.
Yeah.
And AIPAC is one of them.
Even in the UK, there's
bear.
Yeah.
There's bear.
Yeah.
So
Conservative Friends of Israel and stuff like that. There's loads of these different groups.
like when you look at it from a historical lens, obviously the lobby was primarily strongest in the UK because England had colonized or had they had made Palestine a mandate of the British Empire.
Balfour Declaration and
Exactly,
things like that.
right? So they had to
Rothschild.
Exactly. They couldn't even get into Palestine except without England. But about 3-4 times England, as in, was about to lock off the whole Zionist project. And they actually did. They issued white papers, I think in 1921, 1929, 1933, 1937, bro. They were going to lock off the whole project, bro. These men were literally at their wits' end. And after World War II, when the Labour government came in power, they said, bruv, forget this, bruv. The Zionist thing is a headache for us, bruv. We're getting into a problem with the Arabs. We don't need this. And that's when the Zionist lobby made the shift to go to America. And they said, they were already in America prior, but they made America their main thing. So there's the reason why I'm getting to this. There's an ayah in the Quran where Allah Azza wa Jalla describes these people, right? And I don't want to spell out who they are. You know what I'm talking about, right? Allah says in the Quran, ضُرِبَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الذِّلَّةُ أَيْنَمَا ثُقِفُوا إِلَّا بِحَبَلٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَحَبْلٍ مِّنَ النَّاسِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says these people are humiliated wherever they go, right? By the way, I'm not saying this. I'm just telling you what Allah says in the Quran. Just literally quoting you an ayah, Surah Al Imran. Allah said, ضُرِبَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الذِّلَّةُ أَيْنَمَا ثُقِفُوا. They are humiliated wherever they are. They have no respite. إِلَّا بِحَبَلٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَحَبْلٍ مِّنَ النَّاسِ. Unless Allah Azza wa Jal decides to give them a rope, or the people give them a rope. As in, the only way these guys can survive is if they have a rope external to them. Internally, they themselves don't have the ability to protect themselves or defend themselves. So we know that their rope was the British Empire. When British Empire or Britain said, listen, bruv, we don't really want to have our hands tied up with you guys, their rope became the USA. Now, this rope, right, how is it connected between the Zionist regime and the USA? It's through this lobby. Do you understand? And what's one of the fundamental things, other than money, that this lobby uses to actually have control? Propaganda. Propaganda is basically, and I'm not giving you a technical definition here, but it's just basically it's just framing the narrative, right? Framing the narrative. And that's why I feel like right now they're really losing the plot here. Because there's certain things that these guys have fought so hard and they spent so much money on for these things to just not be used. Words like ethnic cleansing, words like genocide, words like famine. Even though starvation is less than famine, but that's still a big... And I'm saying now on mainstream media for it to be discussed, that shows that these men are losing their grip. Also, in America, again, I don't know about the UK, but the lobby is actually now coming out publicly. Before, these men used to operate in the shadows.
Yeah.
But now they're publicly coming out with their arguments. They call it power mouth politics or something like that.
Gaslight.
Exactly. So the point that I mentioned is that
character.
this is crazy, because I'm saying this whole concept of human shields, this whole concept of these words have been articulately chosen to serve a particular purpose. And now the cat's coming out of the bag, man. And what this is creating within America is this concept of, are you, man, why are we even here back in the Zionist regime? Does it benefit us? Only cause our problems. So now within that country, people are starting to wake up. And for me, I believe this is a huge sign from Allah Azza wa Jal, because from the moment that these guys don't have that support, that's it. They're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're in trouble. And I'm going to end on this point. Like Allah Azza wa Jal, he's from his sunnah, from his way of doing things, is that he destroys oppressors after letting them oppress for a period of time. This is Allah's sunnah. Whenever oppressors come, they'll do their thing and Allah Azza wa Jal will let them. And Allah says, Umli lahum. I let them indulge in their evil. I let them indulge in their treachery, and it's just going to increase in the punishment against them. You turned away. You want this path. Okay, cool. We're going to multiply the punishment that you get on the day of judgment. This is Allah's sunnah. Allah did it with Fir'aun. They imprisoned enslaved Banu Israel for I think a couple of centuries. They had them like that. Allah Azza wa Jal does this, but then this is the very interesting point. When Allah eliminates them, it's quick. It's quick. Fir'aun, the pharaonic kind of regime or empire, whatever you want to call it, tortured for centuries. In a second, they were drowned in the ocean. When you look, for example, when for 13 years they oppressed Prophet in Mecca, Battle of Badr, one battle, they were gone. Right, all their heads were gone. When you look, for example, even in Germany, the Nazis were doing their thing. They were murdering people left, right, center. They had dominated for like 5-6 years of the war. The Battle of Stalingrad happened straight away. Things started to crumble right after that. We've even seen right here with what happened with my man Bashar al-Assad. Him and his dad for 50-60 years, bro, were torturing, oppressing people, burning people. In 10 days, bro, they lost it all. The point that I mentioned is, Inna Allah Sari'ul Hisab. Allah is quick. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is quick when he destroys the enemy.
And all of that you mentioned is nothing compared to what's coming on
the day of judgment. Of course, nothing is compared to happening on the day of judgment.
Hereafter.
So there's an ayah in the Quran that I want to share with the people, which, wallahi, when I read it, it's like I've never read it before in my life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ عَجَلٍ. Allah said, the human being has been made from hastiness. We just want to see the victory now, today. Allah says, سَأُرِيكُمْ آيَاتِي. Allah said, I'm going to show you my signs. فَلَا تَسْتَعْجِلُونَ. Don't hasten me. Don't worry, it's coming. Don't be hasty. These men are going to get it. They're going to get what they deserve. You're built upon haste. We don't see the benefits that come from these type of things. Subhanallah. You know, there's a hadith that Allah Azza wa Jal, hadith Qudsi, where Allah says, I don't like to harm my believing slave. I don't like to harm my believing slave. So I don't like to do things that upset him. For that reason, I don't like to take his soul. Like Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't want to hurt the believer because he knows that he doesn't like death. But Allah takes his soul. Why? Because he knows what's waiting for him on the other side is better than what's waiting for him in this life. So I don't want to take your soul, my believer, because you don't like it. And I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to upset you. But I'm going to take your soul because what's waiting for the other side is better for you than this. Likewise, what's happening to our brothers in Gaza? Allah doesn't like the idea of his slaves going through this. But he knows what's waiting for them. Jannah. And what's waiting for the ummah on the other side of this calamity is inshallah ta'ala greater. So I just wanted to mention, because again, we hear these things and these, remember, we're not politicians. We don't have a hand in that. We're not journalists. We don't follow because of these reasons. Right, Sheikh Fawaz? We're none of that. But we are Muslims. And we look and we observe the world through the lenses of what Allah is doing. And I just wanted to mention this because me personally, I'm on a high right now. Actually, I got thicker from Allah. When I read that ayah, I was like, wow, yeah, Allah. It just reminds me, Allah's in control. Allah's in control. Apologies for the monologue, guys. I've been sitting on this one for a week.
Apology accepted.
With that said, inshallah ta'ala, before we dive into some of the other topics, Bakr, you brought to our attention that there's a certain individual in the USA who's called for people to stop going to Hajj and Umrah.
Yeah, I was shocked. So I'll see this.
So let's roll the clip first. You have the clip?
We can roll the clip, inshallah.
Just so the brothers can see it.
I've seen.
You seen it?
Seen it?
Yes, I think I have seen. You posted it, right?
Yeah. So it's part of a longer clip, which is actually part of a series of videos. Because after that one, he posted a couple of like clarifications to try and save face. And what he basically said is, if you've already done Umrah and Hajj once, don't go again, because you're money is going to be going into the Saudi economy, which is then going to somehow aid our, the Zionists. So don't do that. And one thing you need to remember here, yeah, this is an American, right, living in America, talking to an American audience who are also living in America, who are paying taxes in America, right? He's telling them they don't deserve your money. Don't go for Hajj and Umrah, which, by the way, itself has so many problems, because I was talking to Brother Tahmin about it, that day at my house, and he mentioned there's a guy called Abu PowerPoint, right? And he basically did a breakdown of how much money is actually made from Hajj for Saudi Arabia. And it's actually a loss. They actually subsidize it. Like, most of the money goes to the airlines, the hotels, the travel agents, and so on and so forth. I think less than 10% of the money actually goes to them.
One of the leaders of the
he broke it down.
regime, he actually came out and he said, like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. We don't make money from this. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
He fully came out.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, and he said, I don't know, like, why there's this whole concept. And, looking at the country, the kind of country Saudi is, I doubt their main priority would be Hajj and Umrah.
As you mean as a business?
As a business.
As a business
to
model,
make
yeah.
money from.
absolutely. And for me, it just blows my mind. Like...
And by the way, Abu PowerPoint is a strategy consultant. So,
What do you mean by that?
like, their job is to kind of like break down the numbers, bring these sort of businesses to, they break it down for companies.
Oh, you know the guy?
No, I've seen his content and I know what he does. So
Okay.
strategy, quite a few of my friends are in the field, and they have to like break down the numbers, chunk it down. Should they do this? Is it profitable? And bring forward suggestions.
Okay,
so
okay,
it's a
so-
they do
okay.
financial modeling
Yeah,
and things
yeah,
like
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a very analytical thing,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
worked at leading companies in the past.
It's like the brother Habil who we went to for a
We
consultation.
should try and get him on a podcast.
But yeah, so the point is,
Abu PowerPoint.
so he broke it down. Look, number one, they're not making a profit, right? But number two, bro, does it even make sense? How on earth did you, supposedly supposed to be a person of knowledge, right? We're going to dispute that in the first place. But let's just say supposedly people see you to be a person of knowledge. How on earth did you reach the conclusion, guys, don't go to Hajj and Umrah for political reasons? I'm saying ibadah is a solution that we need in this ummah. Like our sins are one of the reasons why bad, even corruption spread throughout the lands and the earth, as we are told in the Quran, right? Hajj is one of the things that if you do it and it's accepted, it will erase all of your past sins. Umrah to Umrah. So how does it make sense?
Actually, what's going
You misunderstood the religion, bro.
It's wrong in so many ways, because there's an ayah in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, جَعَلَ اللَّهُ كَعْبَةَ بَيْتَ الْحَرَامَ قِيَامًا لِلنَّاسِ وَشَهْرَ الْحَرَامِ. Allah says that I have made the Kaaba as something that stands for the affairs of mankind, right? As in, the scholars of tafsir explain that this ayah is proof that when people stop doing Hajj, Allah will bring day of judgment. The Kaaba there and the presence of the Kaaba and people going to Hajj is a sign that the day of judgment is not coming. Because Allah said, I made the Kaaba qiyaman linnas, to stand for the affairs of mankind.
And you know what it is? Like, I could have understood it if you had turned around and said, yeah, you know what, guys, boycott them and let's boycott America as well. Let's first and foremost, the biggest boycott we need to do, let's all leave America.
Yeah, where it started from.
Stop adding to the workforce. Stop, bolstering the economy. Stop, paying loads of taxes there. Let's all move to Muslim countries, for example. But instead, no, someone actually called him out in the comments of that video. And he recorded a reel responding to that, where he basically was like, someone said, look, how can you say that as an American living in America, paying taxes in America? Like, and he was like, oh, look, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Murrad ibn Jabal to go and give da'wah, and we're here, and we have to, for those that see appropriate to leave, and we don't argue with them, we don't blame them, but they go, but we stay here and we're doing Allah's work and this and that. To that, I'm not quoting word for word, so you can go check it yourself.
Firstly, I don't know any you have.
But the point I'm making is you're using an example of someone that's gone to a place to give da'wah. His job is to give da'wah, and you're applying that to people who have set up their entire lives in this place. They're actually adding to the economy. You're actually actively bolstering the economy. The money that you're giving is directly going
Is it 3
towards
billion or
this.
3 trillion that America gives every year to the Zionist regime?
I don't even know, but I don't know. It's billion. It wouldn't be trillion.
And this year they give 4.
Whatever they're giving, my point is, and that's on top of all of the military things that they're giving, and a lot of that is in military itself.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, brother, like, would you respect, brother? Like, you just smash your phone, smash your computer, turn off the internet in your house, and just go pick up the Quran, pick up the Sunnah, and just start reading. Because you fundamentally misunderstood the religion, man, and it's disgusting, and you're actually propagating this to other people. And unfortunately, we live in a day and age where people unfortunately, are activist first and Muslim second. That's the sad reality. Because the people know, oh, you're so brave. You've spoken the truth. I've been wanting to say this for such a long time. And finally someone's come out and said it and this and that. And it's funny because, bro, I commented on this video and he blocked me. So he's not trying to hear it. And multiple other people then comment on my video saying, yeah, I also said to him, bro, you're wrong. And he blocked us as well.
So funny, you sent the video in a chat. In a group, WhatsApp group we have, and one of the brothers in WhatsApp was like, oh, he's blocked me.
He blocked me as well.
And you were like,
yeah, bro, it's just like, it's the funniest thing. And then after that, so he made a third video now, because obviously people get onto him, innit? Like, he's like, no, you guys, I did this on purpose. Sometimes I post controversial things on purpose just to trick you guys. I'm quoting Imam Malik. He said, Imam Malik said that if you have relatives in need and you've already done Hajj and Umrah once, it's better to don't do Hajj and Umrah and spend on your relatives. How on earth are you making a connection between a situation where your family, you know, your wife, your children, they're in need, and Imam Malik said, in that situation, don't go for Hajj again. Instead, spend your money and your time with your family, those that are in need of you. And you're using that to say, guys, for political reasons, don't go for Hajj.
Now, I would understand if you said, yo, I'm not saying this is correct, but I'm saying I would understand the line of argument, which was like, yo, instead of spending money on Hajj and Umrah, give sadaqah to people in Gaza. But it's not even getting there. Charity's not even getting there.
Yeah.
I'm saying I can understand, but
But even then, my point is, bro, it's just so backwards. What's next, guys? Don't pray Salah because it takes away time from protesting. We need to protest more. Let's leave Salah for another day. Right now, we don't need Salah. Come on, man. It's just, for me, it's just, I was shocked because I've heard this before. This notion of we need to boycott Hajj and Umrah. And I always thought of it as a joke, like, you know. And when I saw it, first of all, maybe it's a comedy skit. Then I thought maybe it's AI generated. Bro, the guy's actually backing himself, and now he's saying, "Yeah, it's not me. You guys are disagreeing with Imam Malik."
I mean, look, we don't want to alienate people because I know people feel heavily about these things. But just, I think maybe an ayah from the Quran will help them. Allah says in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ أَن يُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ وَسَعَ فِي خَرَابِهَا أُولَٰئِكَ مَا كَانَ لَهُمْ أَن يَدْخُلُوهَا إِلَّا خَائِفِينَ. Allah says, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ, who is worse and more oppressive than the one who prevents people from going to the Kaaba? As in, there's no one worse than that. I'm saying so.
Let's just move on, bro.
No, it's
Fuck it, angry.
No, but we should. I think
it's infuriates me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm. The reason I'm highlighting this is that, like you said at the beginning, I'm not trying to attack anyone's caliber of knowledge or whatever have you. But I think it was Mu'adh ibn Jabal. He said, "Inna al-haqqi nur." The truth has a light. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say someone so is knowledgeable or not knowledgeable, but where's the truth? Inna al-haqqi nura. The truth, it has a light, bro. You can see it. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ. Who is more oppressive than the one who stops someone from going to the Kaaba? That's what the mushrikeen would do. And the Prophet never boycotted the Kaaba when they had 300 idols around it, 300 plus idols. These are 300 idols around the Kaaba, inside the Kaaba. Idols, brother. Shirk, the thing that Allah will not forgive. Yet the Prophet never said, we're going to, you guys can't go do Umrah. It was Sahaba, whoever could go do Umrah. So,
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And bro, if you're naive and gullible and mentally challenged enough to follow that advice, no problem, man. Let's rush when I go.
That's what?
Let's rush when I go.
Let's rush. Yeah. We kiss the Blackstone.
Amazing.
Yep.
Moving on.
Since we started making content for righteous and rich entrepreneurs, I've gotten so many messages from brothers who've been inspired and want help making money online. They're hungry for financial freedom so they can seek knowledge, do hijrah, and live life on their terms with Allah's permission. But here's the truth. I can't help you. I personally only work with 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs. With that said, there is one brother that I trust more than anyone else that helps beginners start their online businesses with Allah's permission. In fact, I've sent him dozens of brothers already, and time again, he's helped them make consistent money online. Look, I have a lot to lose by putting my name behind someone I don't have full confidence in. But this brother, I vetted him and his team and his method. I trust him with Allah's permission. Which is why I'm ready to risk my 10-year plus reputation on telling you this brother, he will help you make money online, inshallah ta'ala. So if you're interested, go to the link below and you can apply for his mentorship. With that said, let's get back into the discussion.
Mickey Mouse degrees. Chat to us, bro. What's going on?
Mickey Mouse, that's a crazy term, and I actually made a video on it recently. Got quite a few views, kind of went viral. And essentially, recently they released an article on the percentage of people that are on universal credit that have university degrees. So that was a scary thing. Not unemployment, we're talking about universal credit. We're not saying these are grads that maybe haven't landed a job yet. These are people with degrees, and we don't know the length of time they've held their degrees, but they're on universal
Could be
credit.
10 years,
680,000, I believe, was quoted in an article somewhere in that region. And that came to about 9%, 11% of people on universal credit. And then they did the amount of people.
9%.
Yeah, or 11%.
Just so people know, universal credit is welfare.
Yeah.
It's welfare. State benefits.
Yeah. So let's extrapolate this, right? People that are on benefits getting universal credit. And then the amount of people that are also on it was about 800,000 without degrees, no qualifications, right? So the numbers were almost the same of having a degree versus not having a degree that are on universal credit, which means that if you go and see who's queuing up on the job center,
50-50.
it's
Almost.
like to the naked eye in terms of those stats. When you extrapolate that, almost 50-50 of people that are queuing up have degrees versus not having
It's
degrees.
like a 40-60, which is still ridiculously.
Bro, like there's a good chance that every person you count, degree, not degree, degree, not degree for that day, right? There's a solid chance that that's the people that are queuing up for their universal credit.
But you know what's crazy? The guys who are on universal credit without a degree are actually in some ways better off.
They don't have the student debt.
No,
They don't have the debt, nor do they waste the time.
Yeah.
Right? As in, you wasted the time and you ended up being in that exact same place anyway. I remember for me, I deeped it when I finished. I studied law at university, right? And one of my guys that studied with me, I made an active decision in the last year. I'm not pursuing this thing. This thing dead for me. So as soon as it ended, that's it. I didn't try to go for no BVC, LPC, I was out. But people who did, they were working on Argos. That threw me off, like, because again, you know, when you're young, you don't really deep these things, innit? You don't deep what the job market is like, what job security is like. You just think, this is what I've been told, bro. You're going to go study and then you're going to have a bad boy job, you know? And I'm like, bro, why is man in Argos? And why is so-and-so working in a cafe? Yo, why is so-and-so a nitty now?
One question that
Did
I've...
you get me? And it just shows, okay.
I thought you finished. You
Oh,
paused.
no.
That was a long
Yeah,
pause.
it was a deep breath.
I got my inhaler for you.
Take shorter breaths. Like.
Hey.
You got asthma.
No, point being is that, I'm saying that was back then. I'm saying now the situation is, you're telling me, is significantly worse. Like, is it safe to say that someone who takes I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any shape or form, but it's safe to say someone who takes universal credit is poor?
As in you're unable to suffice yourself, innit?
Yeah.
You have to qualify. You have to meet certain criteria to be on universal credit. So low income, you can't afford your rent, things like that, where, you know, they intervene, subsidize.
Struggling.
So you're struggling.
So 10% of those that are 11% of those that are poor, have got degrees. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
That's mad. So, and the whole point of getting a degree is what?
And by the way,
job to make money.
Like, the percentages are quite skewed. There's a huge amount of people that are like elderly and things like that are on it, that are unable to work, things like that play a big factor. So it's actually really significant, that percentage. It might sound small, but it's super significant in terms of when you go to the job center and see who's queuing up, there'll be a lot of people with degrees and a lot of people trying to get universal credit.
Questions. Bring it to Fawaz, yeah. How does one break out of the narrative? You know, as we say that, because I find a lot of people, what they don't realize is, yes, like your parents, they're going to give you advice based on their time. Their advice isn't the kind of, I think you posted about this, right, the other day on your story.
Yeah.
Their advice isn't necessarily relevant to you today. Like, they don't know about AI. They don't know about what's new, and so you, and sometimes an individual themselves might not know. So how do you see through all of the fluff and actually see what's actually working and what's not working?
And just before that, I want to touch on something really important there, because our parents often migrate to this country and there's so much trauma behind, because a lot of people might be very negative towards their parents. Oh, my parents just don't understand, blah, blah, blah. You have to be understanding of the position your parents are coming from. Your parents migrated from, whether it's war-torn, to get these opportunities. They sacrificed so much to follow a system they believed works. And you're now turning to them after they've raised you, invested in your education, took you to private tuition, took you to these tutor groups, tried to make sure you get your education, get your degree. And you're now turning around to them and be like, Mom, I'm 18. I don't want to go to university because it's likely that this degree is not going to get me anywhere. And, and you're telling them that you want to do an apprenticeship. They're like, go away. Like, they don't understand. So you got to be very, very considerate before you have that resentment and things
No,
like
you're
that.
right, because when they came, they had no choice but to take the lowest level jobs because they didn't have a degree. They saw that at that time, all the ones working as, I mean, obviously banking is mostly
Doctors,
halal,
yeah.
but bankers, lawyers, and all this, they all had degrees. They're like, if only we had that. They don't want you to go down the same road they have, working hard labor. So, but they don't realize, wait, there's actually a third option now.
Yeah.
So how do you come to this realization?
Yeah, I think the first thing I'd even like to talk about before I answer that question is, during this whole conversation, I've really been thinking about the game Mafia. A lot of
The
people
card game.
actually, in Mafia, where everyone gets a card. Some guys are civilians and some guys are, the Mafia. I don't know. A lot of people actually don't know the science behind the game and what the game is there to prove. It's there to prove that informed minority will always be an uninformed majority.
An informed minority will always be an
uninformed majority.
Wow.
Meaning, this is why, I encourage people to actually pursue understanding the world and how it works. Because until that's the case, where we don't understand how things work and we don't really have an understanding of life, even this guy, he clearly doesn't understand how the game works. For him to make those statements, clearly somewhere there's a lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding, right? So a lot of problems will simply be solved in the world. Muslims would regain the power if we return back to Quran and Sunnah, of course, and actually sought to understood how does this world work? How does the different variables work? So that's the first thing. And that's people's biggest problem.
You off to the current affairs, then, shouldn't we?
Right? But I'm talking not from the news not from how these things actually work, right?
Yeah.
No,
and sometimes that's not
strategy
even...
consultant is a good example. Someone throwing their opinion when they don't understand financial modeling to be able to break down whether something's profitable or not. I was like, okay, as soon as my man said it, I'm hearing it because that's what he does for a living.
Which is why people that, for example, sometimes you can have a guy that's really knowledgeable, but when it comes to this field, it's like he doesn't understand the ins and outs of this field. So this is a big thing, right? Not anyone who's just, someone who's studied Islam can give you a fatwa when it comes to business. He's never studied Islamic finance. He's never looked into the ins and outs of transactions sometimes, to a higher detail. He might not know the nuances. So this is something, the first thing I tell people is key, right? Be very, very careful who you listen to and where you take from what, because a lot of people just don't have real understanding on how the world works. So the first thing is to accept that you don't have and this is why I tell people constantly, the first thing you have to do, I mentioned it in the last episode of Current Affairs as well, just understand that the way the world works, what I've been told and everything, it's literally just based off of my environment. Another person in another environment has a complete different belief and understanding of how the world works, meaning your opinion and your views is an opinion and views. It's not objective truth. That's the first thing. Accept. Then, for me, I do think majority of these people that are on universal credit or don't have jobs in uni or haven't made it, there's a big aspect of it that people these days just don't have desire anymore. And I think that's something I would honestly say is a big reason, whether uni or no uni, a lot of people these days just don't have desire. And uni doesn't train desire in people. Right? It doesn't train them to actually thrive and want more and, want to achieve things. It just gives them education. Bye-bye.
Desire for what?
Right?
Desire for greatness?
To apply themselves.
To grow, every man who's successful has a desire to grow. It's this innate desire to grow, to achieve something great. Exactly. These days, if you look at men and how men behave, you're seeing it's becoming weaker and weaker. Guys are okay doing this on TikTok, on Instagram. Cool, that's fine. These dances, I don't know shit that they do. Come on.
You're not in paddle anymore. You're good.
We'll talk about what happened at the end, huh? This is propaganda. Right? But it's very important to actually understand these things, that men, not just men and women these days, the desire is so low. Back then when you speak to our parents, they had a hunger. It was unanimous across all of them. They wanted to achieve great things. Now, certain things stopped them from achieving that, but the desire was there. These days, the desire is becoming less and less because, again, overstimulation.
I think I don't understand when I see an 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old and you ask them, but what do you want to do in life? And he's like, I don't know. And you know what the craziest thing is? 9 out of 10 will give you that answer.
Can I give you a reason for this, though? It's actually a really key reason. Do you know what? I believe in education, by the way. No one's a bigger believer of education than me. It's just, I'm not saying don't go uni. I think some people, great, go uni, it's your problem. If you have to take out debt, you're an idiot. Right? If that's whatever, that's your problem. But what we need to start doing more is getting children mentors. Right? This is the system I believe in. I believe in seeing a great man, a man who's understanding of the world, and just sending my son to him, sending my child to him. Go sit with him.
2-3 years, forget.
Exact. This is so important. Do you know, wallahi, what, like, even the examples I've seen of great people, right? And beside them, they have some sort of like apprentice or a great person next to them. And it's literally, you investigate the story. This person's parents made the decision to send him to someone that's what? Older, more wise, understanding of the world. And his parents just sent him to him. And from that, this guy has become a great man. Something that he would have never been able to do. So this is the form I believe in.
So look, I think that's the ideal situation. Not everyone can have access to mentorship like that, though. And even if you have access to mentorship, I think there's
a lack of great men.
There's a lack of great men, 100%. Obviously, great men have
I disagree. I think it's just because of parents. Like, I don't believe there's a lack of great men. Honestly,
as in proximity to the people that are
okay. Yes,
like 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds that want to do my program, they have to get their parents on board. It's hard. It's not easy, even if
the parents
are there.
hold them back a lot of the time.
I know that, but okay, let's just assume there's a mentor for everyone. There's a step before that, though. How do you know which mentor is going to be the best for you? Which area, which sector, right? There's two things that the religion gave us. Uqsimu billahi azza wa jal. If we do these two things properly, I think we'd be out of this mess. You'd be able to break the narrative. You'd be able to understand that I have limitations. I don't know what I don't know. You know all the valid points that you mentioned earlier, which is number one, istishara and istikhara. Shura and counsel from Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah says, subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Once you have counseled the people, now do istikhara, place your trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. The scholars, they mention, مَنْ إِسْتَشَارَ لَا يَخْسُرْ. Whoever seeks counsel from people that are qualified, right, he will never lose. Like, you know, this concept of seeking counsel is something that's so big in our religion that just understand that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yuha ilay, the one who Allah is sending his speech down to him through the angel Jibreel, yet Allah is returned to seek shura from people. Like, you know, when Allah would tell the Prophet to do something, he actually wouldn't necessarily map out step by step exactly what to do. So he'd do this, and then the Prophet would have to work it out himself. And how would he do it? He would go to his companions. For example, when it came to the Battle of Badr, what was stopping Allah from saying to the Prophet, put your army here, put your army here, put your army here, put your army here, put your army here? What's stopping Allah from doing that? To teach us this concept of you got to take the means and you got to do shura and so on and so forth. Because Sahaba would then say, Ya Rasulullah, is this from Allah or is this from you? When the Prophet would do a certain battle formation, he would say, this from me. Sahaba would say, I think I have an idea that could be a little bit more effective. And the Prophet would take it from them. So shura is very important. And some of the scholars mentioned for a person to not do shura is dim-witted, because your assumption is that I know more than someone else. Now, you know, when you go to someone, you say, hey, Akhi, what are your thoughts on this? You're getting a man who's got his own experience in life to use his mind for you for free.
But it's the problem. A lot of people don't have those people in their life. They go to,
again.
I don't think it's that. No. I
intellectually challenge people, ask them for their shura, and they give them the worst advice, and then they say, "Oh, I did."
And they're impressionable.
Which is why I qualified my statement with qualified people. So, for example, if let's just say I want to go to uni, I want to make money, right? That's the reason why you go to uni, right? Like, simplified reason, right? Go chat to the guy who's walked the path that you think you're trying to walk to get to that goal. So go chat to the doctor. Ask him about his regrets. Would you have done it? Would you not have done it? And maybe they say, you know what? Wait, someone in the community I heard is making peas, you know. Alam Barik, what? He's in this whole tech space. There's Murrad. I never heard about this. He's making 850 pounds a day. Let me just go ask him and his people. Wait, 1 second. There's a guy called what? Abu Bakr. He's got what? Supercar company partnership. My point is, everyone's heard of people that have made money other than the way that your parents are telling you. Just go speak to people. And then you'll start to connect the dots, and then you make it.
I believe this understanding thing is a huge thing as well. Like, look, my father was not pleased when I left uni. And it was a result of self-trauma. He had the understanding. My dad is a businessman as well, right? Which it was so confusing to me as a child. Like, we both know. We both know how the system runs. But his thing was, well, I could have advanced my business X, Y, Z, etc. if I had If I had gotten an education. And that's where I had to, speak and understand, like, Dad, I told you I'm leaving uni. I never stopped. I'm not going to educate myself. Right? I would like to believe I spend a lot more time studying than even a guy who goes to university.
Yeah.
Right? So and again, this is the key thing. Like, one of the reasons, like, people, when you meet someone young who's like, he's sharter, he's smart. I guarantee he spends his time with older people. This is why I tell people, if it's really that you love your kids and you really care about their development and their growth, wallahi, just ship them off to older people.
Even you said you learn more than a person that's going to university.
Or guaranteed.
Not only are you learning more than them, but you're actually learning differently to them. You're learning to grow. You're learning to implement. They're learning to memorize for a test. Once they do that test, all that goes out the window, bro.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had brothers that sometimes with these like kind of retreaty things where I'll take a couple of brothers with me and I'll live with them for like 2-3 months. And I had brothers that fully proper uni degrees, like in terms of book smart, like he will slap me around. All right, degrees, kada, big English words. He would slap me around.
He's got letters before his name.
Yeah.
PhD
Well, and you know what they, bro. You know, in 3 months of spending, I've learned more about life and business and how world people actually works than wallahi the 4 years of uni. 3 months. Wallahi, 3 months. 3 months. It just shows you.
They don't teach you, Roland.
Yeah, it just shows you.
What's next? Oh, sorry.
Nah, before we move on, I think we have to give them some actionable things because there's a lot of young people, literally summertime. They've got certain offers lined up. They're about to go to university, making certain decisions. So, number one, the weight of a degree. Mickey Mouse degrees is being headlined. So, if you are going to go to university, it has to be a top university. The actual subject you study doesn't hold as much weight as the university prestige.
Really?
This is a common mistake people do. If you do history at Oxford, you're better off than doing engineering at South Bank. 100% in terms of your employability. 100%.
What about those degrees, for example, when you're...
Unless you're a
Performing
doctor.
arts.
No, yeah, but as in, I remember back in my day, every guy who failed his GCSEs, I don't know how he ended up in uni, because he failed his GCSEs, he didn't even do A-levels, but he ended up in uni. I was baffed. But media and business. Yeah. And to me, I was convinced that this is just a joke, bro.
If you do that at Oxford, Cambridge, it's not a joke. It's not a joke.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the reason for that?
So the reason is there's still quite... Like the prestige holds a lot of weight in terms of employment. So you could go into consulting, you know, you'll see English grads that are working in top consulting firms, top banking firms. Like they don't care. Like the requirement is just degree 2-1, right? For a lot of these graduate schemes. It's only the specific niches where if you want to get into engineering, fair enough.
I guess it's also the network, innit? Like I heard in Harvard, 89 or 90% of people that graduate from Harvard are set for life because of the network connection.
And also the desire to grow. So, you know, when Fawaz said you can't learn that in university, that's not true. I have friends that went to Imperial, Oxford, Cambridge. Trust me, their desire to grow is different. They're coming into university where that person's parents took them to, those most elite, Eton, all of these places,
college,
all of those crazy places, and they're seeing the craziest access to things, and they're understanding how important it is to network. It's information that separates how employable some people are over others, right? I remember my friends that went to like the top uni, and I didn't go to a top uni, right? But I was quite close with those friends from college and stuff, and they'll tell me in the first year, I'm seeing them in Canary Wharf in April. I'm thinking, what's this guy doing in... we can't even get internships yet. He's like, yeah, it's called Spring Weeks. Our university told us about this. I'm like, bro, no one knows about this unless now information is becoming more accessible to become more employable. You know, they've got their LinkedIn profile ready from day one. Do you get it? From as soon as they join uni. So all of these things play a factor in terms of that desire to grow as well. Having that environment where everyone's you're around the best, trying to do the best, that's where your degree holds weight. So if you're going to a top uni, your degree does make you more employable.
I think the key aspect of this as well is just people just need to know what is the end. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the times when I speak to people, they haven't thought of the end. When you think of what my fundamental goal is, what I'm actually trying to achieve, like sit down, as you said. And for me, discovery comes through conversations, through journaling as well, and dua. These are the 3 things I always tell people. If you're stuck in anything, just make a lot of dua. For Allah to guide you. You know, journal, think about your thoughts and address like what is it that I actually love and care about truly, away from stimulation, silence the noise. And then the last one is just genuinely speak to people. And from there, you actually understand like this is a path that actually doesn't make sense to me. This is the thing that makes sense to me. Stop doing things just because people tell you to do them. Because wallahi, like, I'm not going to lie to you. My whole life has just literally, majority of people tell me to do, I'm just like, okay, thank you very much. And then and I'm not going to lie, I'm much pleased that way. And people say, oh, it's because you're stopped. No, it's just I've taken enough conversations and I've spent enough time being aware of myself to understand what I actually want and what I understand I want and what I can take care of, that everything else I'm just able to sideline.
You know,
but 18-year-olds, like,
I still believe it's possible. This is why.
I think an 18-year-old is not going to want to. They don't know what they want to do for the rest of their life. I think it's very unrealistic to expect that.
They don't know what they want to do
But
for the rest
at
of their
least
lives.
give yourself that optionality to be fluid. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to go to university, grab a degree that opens loads of doors. Because, like, for example, I studied engineering. Most of my friends, after we graduated, we clocked, we don't want to work in these remote locations doing mechanical engineering. We're going to be making 40K after all these years. That's why I pivoted, right? But because I had that optionality, went to a decent... Same with my friends. A lot of them are working in consulting in Dubai, making very good money. And they did a degree. They did, like, chemical engineering, things like that. And then they all went into, like, consulting at the big firms. So making a decision that at least gives you a lot of optionality to be fluid, I think is important at a young age. Then pigeonholing yourself in doing a certain niche degree that you don't really know if you want to do in a bad university, and then you're actually on universal credits.
What you're saying is leave your options open.
Yeah. So my thing is, one thing you have to understand is, not going to uni straight away doesn't mean you can never go uni. There's actually a misconception.
That's true as well.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Yeah.
So, for example, if you use 1 year for discovery, I'm going to meet as much great people as possible, have as much of these sit-downs with people as possible. Genuinely, that's why I tell people to just stop for a second. The problem in where we have this ummah today is just constant... Like, I give out to members on my team for this. This ajil is going to put you in trouble, man. This hastiness, this trying to jump into something. Just stop for a second, assess everything that's in front of you, assess the different options, then make a move. Do you know what I'm saying? A man knows when to stop and think and knows when to act. And I feel like this is where the shabab today, they just do things and it puts them in boxes.
If I could just add on to this, because you made the point, 18-year-old not going to know what he wants to do for the rest of his life. I agree with you. But I'm not even tasking him with knowing what he wants to do with the rest of his life. Just knowing what you want to do for the next 3-4 years. The reason why I think this is very important is because people have that mindset of, I'm going to go uni, and after uni, I'm going to get a job.
Figure it out.
In his mind, I'm going to figure it out. In his mind, he's 18, but he's like, I still don't need to... Basically, it's like the next 6 years or 4 years,
I don't need to think.
I don't need to do anything.
I just need to
follow the
focus on my
system.
degree.
At the end of it, then I'll...
But I'm saying, we know a brother, for example, he came to the Righteous Rides with us, 18-year-old brother, Arman, Allah Mubarak. The brother's doing $500,000 a month. Allah Mubarak. I spent 2-3 months with the guy, right? And he's 18 years old. He turned 9. Sorry, he was 19 by the time we was there. He's doing $500,000 a month, Allah Barik. I know another brother, mashallah, who's doing like 600,000-700,000, a month. And
even the brothers,
we know we can bleep his name.
But these are the anomalies, though.
But Sheikh, I'll tell you something.
I'm saying 70. Put yourself in an 18-year-old shoes.
But why?
Put yourself in an 18-year-old.
Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why they don't know. This is the problem.
If I may, the reason why they're anomalies is because they're the ones who actually ask themselves, wait, what should I do in the next 2 years? I feel like that question...
I think there's
I'm not saying that's the only reason.
Nah.
But that question...
I think there's so many factors. Your parents shackling you. I know some people that have actually thought it through. They're like, bro, like the pressure of my parents is crazy. If I don't go to university, it's like they're going to disown me. Like some different people have different levels of... Some people might have had a supportive system. Some people... There's so many factors that... could impact someone.
I agree.
To just be like, an 18-year-old needs to be
all
like...
these guys are saying
we need to talk about this uni thing, right?
Take a breather to just step back and think about it. Like when I used to work as a train driver, as part of your training, one thing this teach you is when something goes wrong, roll up a cigarette. Not literally, but back in the days, before smoking was illegal in public, what this is training to do is literally don't take any immediate action. Stop.
Roll it up.
Pull out the Rizla, pull out the tobacco, and just roll up a cigarette. That'll give you some time to think
Smoking
about
is haram,
what
guys.
is the right action to do. Of
Smoking is
course.
haram.
Can I actually mention something and get a bit vulnerable here, right? I was the same. Look, like, I'm not going to lie to you. Every sibling I have called me and literally goes by my brother and goes, listen, don't drop out. You're going to cause some headache in the yard. You're going to blow it up. Right? I goes, listen, anyway, I'm going to Egypt for study for a year. Again, just get out. Get out. Don't just get stuck in. I'm going to Egypt for study for a year. I told my dad, listen, khair, inshallah, once I'm back, I'll come back and, I'll continue. In my mind, I know I'm not coming back. But this is just a chance. My parents' greatest thing is, I don't want you to end up on the streets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? the thing that made it digestible to my father is like, bruv, this guy is a hustler. It's not like he's in bed all day. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
Very
He's
good point.
taking, this is the problem as to why those parents are like, no, you
Not
better go
trusting,
uni.
yeah.
Bruv, you wake up at like 12 p.m. every day. You wake up at Dhuhr. Of course your parents are going to be.
Video games all day.
Exactly. You play video games. But when they see like, rah, this guy is actually taking life seriously, you know, it starts to become a lot more digestible where it's like,
Absolutely.
you know what?
Correct.
Man knows somehow, some way, you're going to find a way. And anyway, inshallah, be it, you know, you leave, whatever, you can still come back to uni. Uni is not one of those things it's not possible.
I'll end this by saying that, I mean, I haven't given this a lot of reflection and thought, but just sitting here, I would say of the top 3 decisions I made in my life, dropping out of university was one of them.
Likewise.
Was not one of them.
Was one of them.
Okay.
Hijrah
I
was
don't
one of
encourage
them.
that unless you have a plan.
Hijrah I had no plan.
I don't
But
encourage
you had brothers
I
around.
had drive. I had brothers around me. I had. I knew what I knew, bro. I was in pharmacy. The reason why I did pharmacy is because bro, I was good at maths, I was good at science. This kind of combined the two. My mom wanted me to do medicine. I was on track to do medicine up until college. Kind of fell off the rails a little bit. Didn't get the grades. You know what? I'll do pharmacy instead.
Yeah.
Did pharmacy. I actually gave it 100%. My uncle actually paid for my university the entire year up front because I wasn't going to take the loan because I started practicing. After my first ever placement, Tesco Pharmacy, Seven Sisters, near my dad's yard. Bro, I was like,
Oh, that's too
this
local to
is
me. That is a
dead.
bad thing. That place there,
Seven Sisters.
that would make anyone leave pharmacy.
No,
though.
forget that. No. Bro, it was the concept of, bro, I'm a
Let's do
shopkeeper.
pharmacy in
I
Tottenham.
remember,
You know?
I remember the moment when you called me. I was in Kingston,
I was like-
Bental Centre at the time.
I was like, bro, I'm a shopkeeper.
Yeah.
I'm a shopkeeper. Like, literally, the only difference is I'm dealing with drugs instead of, you know, toothpaste. But even then, they have toothpaste there as well. But the bottom line, I was thinking, bro, like, I'm literally just a shopkeeper. Like, the deliveries come in the
You're
morning.
stacking pads,
I'm
cereal
stacking the
pads.
shelves. Probably.
And Durex.
But all of that stuff, and then people come into the desk with their prescription. I have to go find it for them. Like, what's the difference? And then I'm looking at the pay. The pay isn't even that great. Pharmacy.
You know what? One of the things is I tell people what you do, pay. I think all of that. It depends on the person. All right.
Nah,
Some
for me,
people,
nah.
So
So
money isn't the thing.
I
Some-
didn't
do you
know
what I
what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
but I knew for damn sure what I didn't want to do,
Yeah.
and that was flipping be a pharmacist. So I
Fair,
said, bro, at the end of the
fair,
day,
fair.
I'm going to drop out.
If you're not 100%.
And at the end of the day, bro, like, I will find a way, bro.
Yeah.
And I believe as a man, you have to have that in yourself and you have to have that confidence. And as a Muslim man, especially, if you're a Muslim and you know that you're a Muslim and you got Allah on your side, you need to know that, bro, push comes to shove, I can go out there and I'll hustle, bro. Whatever it takes,
Even it's-
I'll get it done.
Yeah, my
So
biggest
just-
problem is people's dependency on uni over
Yeah.
everything. That's my biggest thing.
So look,
I have to baby people a lot, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know, bro, I actually agree fully with what you're saying, but I have to baby people with actionable steps. I completely agree with everything you're saying, Abu Bakr, but I feel like with where people are, they need to be babied. Like, I need to just give them proper actionable stuff. Before you get into a career, go on LinkedIn, find a Muslim person that is in the field, looks similar to you, that's followed that exact path, have those conversations, reach out to them, give them your Calendly, organize some time, go have a coffee chat with these people. You have to give so much granular steps because I feel like the things that you figure out and take initiative with, a lot of young people might just drop out and they're like in bed until 1 p.m. And
Valid point.
that's a lot of people's reality.
I agree
So
with
when
you.
I work with a lot of young people, I have to give them so much actionable steps. Before you go into this field, make sure to do this research. Make sure to communicate to people in the field. Know, you know, the employability rate of your university that you're going to. You know, how employable your degree is. Do this research. Check the rankings. Blah, 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 blah,
You're
blah.
right. Because at that time, I was with the brothers Imran, Ustad, the time we were doing classes every day. Sometimes we would wake up at 4 a.m. You know, going all to Clapham, like,
Yeah.
you know, doing classes, and we were even doing da'wah together. So it was like I had something going on. I wasn't
Yes.
sitting around doing nothing.
There's a
This
balance.
is my thing.
There's a
Yeah.
balanced path. There's a balanced approach, right? You can make the decision, do self-reflection, have a strategy, have a plan, and do all those things at once.
Yeah.
But inshallah, being a Muslim entrepreneur who's committed to making hundreds and millions of dollars through his business without compromising his deen, I can tell you this is a very lonely journey. But over the last year, I've realized that I'm not alone. In fact, some of the most sophisticated entrepreneurs are Muslims who fear Allah, and they watch this show. They attend our retreats, and they use their wealth for good. The issue is that they're all scattered. They're all alone. But inshallah, that changes once and for all on September the 6th. Because we're going to be launching our exclusive and powerful circle of Muslims making millions, inshallah ta'ala. If you make millions as an entrepreneur, or have at least $10 million in assets through investments, then you qualify to join our waiting list at the link below. P.S. I just want to mention, money isn't the only qualifying factor, but it definitely is the first. So you can register your interest at the link below, inshallah ta'ala, and join the waiting list. With that said, let's get back into the discussion. Barakallah feekum. So moving on to the next topic, AI. So AI actually is making job security a lot more insecure.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of jobs currently, even if you was to get a degree and do all of that kalam, like, you know, in law, and like that's one of the first industries that's already currently being flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Anything that's, you know, requires language learning models, it's looking long.
From what angle, like, because an AI can't fight for you in court.
I can't, but a lot of the other stuff like paperwork, this stuff. I mean, look, code people.
Or like admin stuff.
It increases efficiency.
I wouldn't call it
like
admin.
The paralegal stuff.
The paralegal type of stuff. Look, I don't know the details, but point being is that all I know is that AI is disrupting the world right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've got entrepreneurs that are using AI, and they're using AI to scale. So I don't know if you guys know, but mashallah, brother Murrad here, he won the school games, Allah Barik. And he got invited over to California to spend some time with
It's
Hormozy.
the top 10 that get invited, right?
Of the
Top
ones who
5
win.
of the
Yeah.
category.
And actually, mashallah, tabarakallah, for those who don't know, school is a platform where you can host community. You've got this amazing program,
Hold a code.
Code a Code, mashallah. You're helping people basically make more money than, in some cases, entrepreneurs through coding and the tech world, right? Allah Barik. But he's also an entrepreneur, mashallah, tabarakallah, who's leveraging AI to basically optimize his business. His churn is only 1%. And Hormozy, Allah Barik, was so impressed that he was actually asking me, how do you man do that? Because that's unheard of. So they were taking notes from him. So mashallah tabarakallah, like this AI thing, I am actually currently very interested in it. I actually sent a message to my team a month ago because there was 3 or 4 podcasts that I watched that really blew my mind. And I said to them, listen, if you man don't watch these 3 podcasts on AI by Thursday, you're all sacked. And I made sure they knew what time it was, because I'm not a tech guy. I'm not savvy in that regard, but I can see.
What's going on?
I can see what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you man need to find some solutions. So I'm really bullish on this thing right here. I'm really interested in your thoughts, Akhi, right now. Like, because from an entrepreneurial perspective, how can we take advantage of this? Like, what's happening? What are the pros and cons? What are the disadvantages if we don't jump into this right now?
So it's insane that. So first of all, I want to take yourself as an example.
Yeah.
The fact that you're not technical,
Yeah.
and the fact that you don't know, you know, the depths around AI,
Yeah.
but you're just like, we need to use it somehow. We need to utilize it, because I'm
It's like
hearing
the internet.
yeah, just like exactly. So the fact that you feel that type of way shows a lot about the impact AI is having across entrepreneurs and businesses, right? There's still a lot of legacy people that are like, not sure about it. But again, once you start seeing your competitors using it, once you see a few podcasts, it's like, I'm going to be left behind.
You know Roger Moore's bell curve?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the end, the laggards? That's me when it comes to technology. So I'm the guy who got a smartphone when my Nokia 3210 battery expanded so much that I couldn't actually find one on Earth to replace it. Do you understand? So that's me when it comes to technology. But
I would say my experience with you is different. I would say from my experience, you're early compared to a lot of people.
It's relative.
I would say, yeah, like,
No,
from my experience, I believe you were using it.
what AI?
Like AI, like ChatGPT,
Oh,
earlier than a lot of people.
that's the point I was going to come at. So I'm saying that's my nature.
Yeah.
I had to completely reverse when I saw what AI is.
Impact.
When I not even as in when I saw its potential, when I saw its possible way. Do you get me? So I was reinforcing your point that someone like me is taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So you guys should definitely take it seriously.
So I'm going to try and not go too technical with things, as technical people tend to do, right? So I actually work in machine learning operations. That's my speciality in that space, right? And I have to be careful about what I'm actually talking about, because I've signed a few NDAs for stuff.
Okay.
So I'm telling you guys, you know, one shocker that recently happened in the news, which kind of skewed my perception of AI, is I believe Mark Zuckerberg offering people 300 million over 4 years as engineers. So he's actually offering engineers 100 mil salaries.
So AI engineers.
AI engineers, AI specialists. They're headhunting and poaching people from like OpenAI. Like, it's a crazy bidding war.
300 million is mad.
Bro,
That's a job.
forget
Guys,
you're
take back what I said. Go to uni, learn AI, and become an
But
AI
how many
engineer.
people went to uni? They coded in their bedroom. I like.
Bro, there's a different level to being like a data scientist and AI, which is why a lot of people, when they say learn AI, they don't know what they're talking about, right? Get involved in AI, learn AI. You can't learn AI. You need to have a deep understanding of algorithms, stats, data in order to use it. What people are actually pushing is like agentic AI, using AI agents, automations with AI, which a lot of businesses can utilize and still has a lot of value, right? But you're not fine-tuning models and you're not going to the depth of using PyTorch pandas and loads of Python packages and writing things. These people aren't doing it. And there's a lot of people that are emerging like, we're AI consultants, but they're just doing plug-and-play stuff.
Stuff like
They're
that.
just, it's plug-in, right? Anyone, you could go on YouTube right now and watch a few tutorials on NAN and things like that. And these tools are massively beneficial. So number one, it gets rid of all the manual elements that you do day to day that are huge overheads. So whatever's a repeatable task, and this is the depths of automation, you can now apply intelligence to it. So automation always existed, and automation is a big threat to jobs anyways.
Just explain what automation is.
Automation. I'll break down the separation between automation and AI and how it overlaps with intelligence. So automation is being able to apply a consecutive amount of tasks automatically. So let's say, for example, you know, a lot of IT support when you need your password reset and stuff like that, that, you know, you have to call people and things were incredibly manual. Now there's a lot of automations in place where you could reset your password quickly. It's all sorted, right? Same with manual tasks. You could even automate particular emails you need to send to mass people. Now, when you start applying AI and intelligence, things change, right? Whether you're responding to very specific emails like Fixer AI, right? That it actually responds in the way that you write. It gives very informative messages. It replies to people, saves ridiculous amount of time. It goes, books things in your calendar. All of these manual stuff.
Fixer.
Yeah, Fixer is a good example. There's many AI tools out there that are currently emerging and getting incredibly popular, big funding, because it removes that overhead of needing, you know, all these receptionists. Bro, something as simple as call handling, right? AI has improved so
But are they actually good though, guys?
they're amazing. They're, number one, like the nuances of trying to argue that, oh, AI is never going to be as good as like me handling a phone call. Well, number one, you're limited by the amount of phone calls you could pick up. You sleep. You get it? You go to bed, right? There's only a certain amount. If you want to handle US calls and all of these sort of people as like a receptionist, you've now expanded your market globally because you can handle all phone calls everywhere and whatever. There's more to it. But there's so many human limitations, human error, right? If you've got a query and you want to respond, it's easy for you to, you know, make a mistake on the email. It looks unprofessional. AI is not making these mistakes, right? In those senses. So you can refine it, use these agents, NAN. So for entrepreneurs, it's ridiculous in terms of how lean you can make your business, right? The whole concept of I need to hire, you know, oh, I'm getting more customers.
Where do I go? Because look, me,
Yeah.
like I said, maybe it's a limiting belief, but I'm just going to give you my reality right now.
Yeah.
Is that I'll go, for example, into NAN, for example.
Yeah.
I just can't use it.
You can.
NAN.
You can. If you apply yourself.
Okay, I know.
It's a mental blocker.
It's a mental blocker, I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm saying...
What's NAN?
N8N is a particular platform online that's used to like use AI agents and stuff. Like Zapier is used for a lot of automation. NAN is what people use for like AI automation and things like that. So you've heard of Zapier,
you know that
right?
AI employee thing?
Yeah.
You can make your own custom ones on NAN.
Yeah.
N8N.
N8N.
Actually, Adam's using it. He's using it for the network right now.
Okay.
He mentioned it to me a couple of days ago. Then you mentioned it. My thing is, I'm just not good with that stuff. It would take me time to learn it. For me,
You can hire.
Sure, I'm coming to that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that Bakr is actually a technical guy. So he's a guy who just doesn't. He's got huge limiting beliefs. Just cannot be bothered. He doesn't believe the AI team will ever bank.
Yeah.
At least right now.
No, that's not true.
I gave him a thing, and he was just like,
I'll
I'll give him my reality.
Go on, give your reality. Then I'll give the reality.
My thing is, I told him, listen, brother, all these tasks, you're following up people every single day.
Yeah.
This is long. I said, I found an AI tool for you. Mess with it. His thing is, brother's limited. It might be, might not be. My thing is, I see people doing what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're using these AI tools in a way that's not limited, right? Or it has broader limitations than we think.
Yeah.
Like, where do I go? Because right now, I'm not trying to hire a guy. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
So what actually happened before we...
By the way, I actually have a guy. But me and him don't understand each other. You know why? He's a technical guy.
Yeah.
So it's weird. We spoke about it the other day that when I tell him a task, he thinks in storyboards and scrums, and I'm like, bruv, just get it done. And he's like, no, I've got to solve the problem.
You know, you're the best person to actually dive into this stuff. Like, I find it, okay, a lot of
talking to you as well.
Fear right now.
a lot of
talking to you as well.
You just instilled
Bro,
dread. Into
a lot
him
of
right now.
entrepreneurs like love to hire and offset things because of the overhead, and I completely understand that. But the ROI you get by understanding how to implement this stuff in your business, like the business impact, is ridiculous, because you know your pain points better than anyone. You know your bottlenecks better than anyone.
Yeah.
You could at least map things out
Yeah.
by having a high level understanding. You don't need to dive into it, do the implementation. But the problem with having a technical,
I actually don't have the time though.
So anyway,
but you don't know the ROI.
No, but my thing
If you
is,
do the ROI, your
I
time
don't-
suddenly you
I
have
don't-
time. It's a priority.
I don't mind learning.
say that one more
Sudden,
time.
if you knew the ROI, it will be a priority. Suddenly you have time.
So
I'm
can I say
telling
this
you.
one more time? I don't think it hit home.
Are you talking about building the actual automations?
You don't need to build it.
Oh, I'm
you need
happy
to
to learn.
understand it.
Oh, I'm
dive
happy
in,
to do that.
and be like, look, I need the AI agent that is a
Oh,
cool
yeah.
handler that handles
Oh, yeah,
this,
I'll do
this,
that all day, every day.
And yeah,
I'll read 5-10 books in it right now.
yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%.
yeah.
My thing is, I don't want to be the guy building it out.
No,
But
that's
my,
long.
Okay, my thing is though. So if I want to accelerate my learning curve now,
Yeah,
like what is it? Is there consultants? Can I chat to you?
yeah. I mean,
Can you do it for us?
I like to gatekeep, I'll be honest. Like this stuff here. So the limitations thing is very real, and I'll be a bit, I'll try and remove my bias and be honest. There's areas that I've taken my AI and automation stuff to the next level. You know, if there's a unofficial API, I could create it, right? If there's not an official API for certain things, I'll be careful of what I say, but I could break down the code behind things website and actually start coding and making adjustments to the limitations that you might reach on a blocker and be like, oh, Zapier doesn't integrate with this. Like, bro, I'll write a bit of Python, it will. I'll write a bit of Python and it will. Do you get it? And this is the problem with
So what
like
are
the
three
learning gap.
practical steps? Let's just say, for example, look, because you know exactly the reason I want to discuss. I think for LBD this would be a life changer, because this AI thing. If we could,
You're
start
not using AI?
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about. I'm talking like even in personal lives.
everything,
And when you start
yeah.
using AI to start managing things in your relationship and your health, and
You know what's John?
I think
use it in the yard.
I'll be honest.
Use AI in the yard.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about
What's-
that stuff.
He got in trouble one time. Remember, he told me.
Hey.
What happened? What happened? So he had this AI employee thing. They wanted me to investigate, look into, build out one.
Yeah.
So I spent like I don't know how long in the morning doing it, and we had a meeting that day with a client, and it was to do with data, and I was supposed to be preparing for that meeting.
Yeah.
He's like, I want this done today. Like, so I spent so long. I don't know how many hours, and all I managed to get it to do in the end was automate a Slack automation message to one account, which is part of a bigger system that we're trying to build. And then it came to the actual meeting itself.
Yeah.
And bro, like I'm getting asked questions, and I didn't have the answers,
Yeah.
and it really annoyed me. And I was like, bro, I spent all that time in the morning doing that when I should have been preparing for this. This is a waste of my time right now.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said this is a waste of my time right now. It's not really leveraged right now.
Yeah.
But
did you have a lot of guidance on what you should be learning? Did you have a learning pathway? What things to learn first? What tools work?
So it was motion, and they had a couple tutorials, but it wasn't great.
So this is the thing with AI. It's very broad, and there's so many tools out there. There's different tools that are best for different jobs, right? So you could go down the narrative of like going down into something that doesn't have the best integrations for this.
You know what? We need to have a sit down.
Yeah, we'll have a
That's
sit
what I'm
down.
saying. I need
But-
to sit down.
I'm going to say something that's quite
You do
controversial.
consultancy on this? Can we need a
I
consultant?
can, but
Yeah, we gonna do a consultant.
I'd rather
He's got
gatekeep.
NDAs, bro.
I'd rather
I got
gatekeep.
NDAs.
No, I can, yeah, I can, 100%. But look,
Man said I'd rather gatekeep.
why am I going to make everyone efficient around me?
Why do you love your brother? You love yourself.
No, you man is cool, but in certain areas where I'm competing, why am I going to give businesses the competitive edge? They'll start adopting this like this, especially when I'm actually.
That opens the door for you to be even better. You're surrounded by people that are mid.
You man, I got you, man. You
You're
man
gonna
are my
see
brothers.
next to-
innit? I
Nah.
got you, man.
Come on, bro.
It's not even a consultation. It's like,
What about the Ummah?
well, I'll make time for you lot. I got love for you lot. 100%. Okay. I'll say how it is, innit? It needs to make sense from a business perspective and be more profitable for me to help others than me leveraging it.
Oh, 100%.
That's just how it is, right?
100%.
That's the game.
That's the game. Now, that being said, right, I need to say this, right? I don't think you can have an optimal or efficient business nowadays. I don't see it like being super efficient if you don't use AI. I don't care what you think about your business. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care if you're 9, 10 figure. It doesn't matter in terms of efficiency because you don't have the data to prove certain things, right? If you want to have data-driven decisions, because you could do something right now and you can make particular posts or change your content strategy and now you've increased your revenue, but you don't even know if it's because it's that time of the year where people buy more or it's like certain data around things. Once you're data-driven and you have AI and you're tracking everything and you're getting feedback and you're having end-to-end data-driven processes and that enforces all your decisions, it will take you to the next level. You know, okay, cool. You know, how I identified and minimize my churn. I'm like, okay, you know, I've started to check the data on people. I'm like, you know what, people that are inactive tend to churn. Okay, let me implement some follow-up messages. Let me automate that where people haven't been active for more than 5-6 days on my community. Okay, when people churn, let me implement this, you know, AI automation where they get a video of me to get details around. All of these things to enhance people's experience, right? You could gather this using technology.
You can use it in marketing, you can use it in sales, fulfillment, everything.
Bro, even, okay, I could dive into this topic a little bit. Ads, copywriting, all of this stuff, AI is coming for it. Bro, I don't care what you think. You're a great copywriter. You can write ads. Bro, AI is finishing you because you're human. Humans, their brains are computers, right? What you learn and what you implement is by the data that you're absorbing from the environment around you. You're telling me you could have an AI tool that you could ingest loads of data in, refine that model, and it generate ads for you and make the best possible. Bro, it's different level, right? I'm not going to go into too much detail because certain things I can't talk about, but it's doing things that...
You talk about it outside?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I want to quickly end this.
It's crazy. No, but I'm saying every bit, your funnel, bro, my funnel has, you know, automations. It goes to your WhatsApp, a YouTube video of me. How did I reduce my no-shows, right? I had so much data where I'm like, I have some people that book consultations don't turn up. How do I reduce this? Okay, I need to warm the lead better. I need automations where it goes to their WhatsApp. They get a voice note of me. They get a YouTube video 3 days before. Hey, check out what DevOps is. So when they're on the call, I don't get all those common questions. What the hell is DevOps? Like, all this data, refining it, using it, automating it. Once you know how it works and once you're able to use it, even on a basic level, just use automation. Just use Zapier. If you're not there yet, that you don't want to start AI agents, at least automate a lot of the stuff you're doing manually. Sorry, I went on a rant.
No.
MMA
important
versus
wallahi,
bodybuilding.
Barakallah feek, Jazakallah khair. As the CEO of a highly influential Muslim company, would you like to know the single most important move that I made in 2025 that's helped me make more money than I ever have before with Allah's permission? Well, it was joining the Live by Design Mentorship for CEOs by Coach Fawaz. When I heard that he helps scale the CEO's performance, which ultimately results in the business scaling, I was a bit skeptical. But subhanAllah, this program has transformed my deen, my health, my mental health, my family, my iman, and even my business. Coach Fawaz is now one of the 5 most important people that's impacted me in my life. So if you're a CEO of a decent-sized company that's struggling to take his business to the next level, that next zero, that's where Coach Fawaz's Live by Design Mentorship comes in. I'll leave the link to the application form below if you're interested. With that said, let's get back into the discussion. All right, so look, break down the controversy. What's going on? MMA bodybuilding.
You started it, bro. What do you mean? Why are you trying to... Man's got his hands up. It wasn't me.
No, 1 second.
You did it first.
So, you know what's crazy? So apparently I started it. And I didn't even know about it till yesterday. Was it yesterday?
You know what's funny? I'll tell you what's even funnier. He actually wanted that cut out from the video.
Yeah.
And it did get cut out from the video, but
mad.
Because the intro was already done, it got left into the intro.
No, give context. Like,
so he did a podcast with an MMA fighter.
Just play the clip.
Brother Yusuf. We'll play the clip.
Yeah.
And in that video, at the beginning, they're talking and, you know, they're talking about, wait, so bodybuilding, people just do it for like vanity? Like, is that what it is? Like, to a certain degree?
I asked the question, by the way. I'm not saying.
And the brother said,
Big Yusuf
yes.
is my guy. I'm not saying. I asked the question.
Okay, anyway. And then the brother said yes. And then he again asked the question, but isn't that gay? And the guy said, yes, absolutely, it's gay. And so then that triggered this whole debate.
You're moving bad.
He asked the question, but it was the framing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so now this whole thing, look.
First of all, can they just stop bringing the hadith about the strong believer is better than the big believer? Like, that means go
the weak believer.
Get the weak believer. Like, that means go get muscles out of your ears. Can we just start there?
First of all, can I just finish the framework? Sorry, the intro.
Before
we even get into it.
I'm about to lean into the finish.
So
please.
So then, obviously,
he readjusted his seating position.
Bruv.
Then the
all the other topics.
1 second.
Nonsense, bruv. I'm seeing online with these bodybuilders,
One second.
Please.
So then the discussion came to, would a MMA fighter beat a bodybuilder, right?
That's a silly question, though.
Okay.
Why?
Because they're two different things.
And that's the same thing.
Why do they have two different goals?
Okay, perfect. So that's the same thing that
one's goal is dead.
that Big Isa mentioned in his video, right? So he made a video reacting to it, and he mentioned a few points, and it's become a little bit back and forth.
There's a video.
No, but it's in now. I don't believe there's any. It's not like there's no one's hurt. No one's.
Good.
It's a healthy discussion.
I think there's a potential scrap on the way.
back and forth.
I saw a little something.
Even if it is, it's just like marketing, propaganda, like just pushing it, whatnot.
I know. I'm trying to add to.
It's all in. It's all in jest, in good faith, inshallah. So
I'm trying to see that though.
So go on. I've got a few points to mention on this, but since you already started, just go for it, and then we'll come.
I just hate they just rinse out the same hadith. Like that's what it specifically means. Like there's a difference between going into the gym and getting strong. Bruv, I have no respect for you if you spend 4 to 6 hours in the gym for what?
I don't think anyone spends 4 to 6 hours in one session in the gym.
In a day?
In a day. There's guys that spend 4 to 6 hours.
4 hours. 3.
Even 4 hours.
No, but he means the whole
you
process.
You have to look at the
He means the whole
thing.
process.
These guys, a tutu can look. Bruv, that's a
jacuzzi,
dead life. I don't
sauna.
care. It's a dead life.
I went to the gym with someone
Wallahi, it's a
the
dead
other
life.
day, and like the other month, and it ended up being 3 hours, like the whole experience, and I was like, that's a bit mad.
I'm not gonna lie to you, and sarahatan as well, from a Muslim, I believe it's yudi al-waqt. I believe this wholeheartedly. This grams, this, and they do all this weird stuff, this specific pulley, and they spend all the money buying this material, and just say I do it for the fun of it. Wallah, I'll shake your hand. But then they drop a hadith in a stupid manner that doesn't align with they've completely, taking out the meaning of what the hadith actually means. And there's just...
But Murrad's disagreeing. Why?
So here's my
I
take.
can't lie. I actually think it's more practical to be ripped than to be able to fight.
Practical for what?
Day to day.
What's day to day?
It's hard to argue.
And
I'm actually someone that grew up doing martial arts.
Practical in terms of what?
Maybe once and twice it came useful. And even then, even if I lost that fight, life carries on.
Practical in terms of what?
Practicality, day to day. Okay, I'll tell you. Being fit, number one, you get treated better. When you're in shape and you're ripped, people give you respect. Okay. It doesn't matter what you lot might think, I treat people the same. Okay. Trust me, if a man's hench and a man's talking to you, a lot of men tread toes naturally, right? I've had friends that are extremely well, extremely in shape, right? And their demeanor, people just respect. It's the same way with being attractive, right? There's a lot of psychology to it where people are drawn to you. Then people are favorited in a lot of things. You'll just see it, like they'll go pretty privilege, all of this stuff. When they're in shape, they're often like really respected by other people. They command they get a lot of respect, bro. So day to day,
So call it what it is.
Guy going to the shop versus someone that isn't in shape going to the shop. All these little things day to day, that guy gets treated way better. So practically day to day, it's more useful to be ripped.
So call it what it is. I want to look aesthetically pleasing so people can look at me and I can get pretty privileged, but don't turn it into something else.
Okay, so here's my take.
But what are some other practical applications? So that's one.
So many practical applications, like in terms of, optionality with women. You could talk about that side. You could talk about so many different sides.
But that's all aesthetics, right?
That's all aesthetics, but that's what being hench is for. I think it's aesthetic.
Yes.
I think it's aesthetic.
No, so that's what he was saying in the video, is that he was saying is that it's literally just, it's not about practicality in
but
terms
it's practical though.
No, in terms of like...
That's like saying getting a trim's not practical. It's practical.
But one second.
No, it's practical in terms of...
But 1 second. Is that
day
bad?
to day, you get treated way better as being in shape.
It's bad, no, but he's saying people use it from the angle of like, like
it's
in terms of like needed for like gay,
this is what health looks like. It's not healthy,
I don't think so, because
it's not healthy. Them are not flexible.
But one second,
practicality,
One second. Look, here's my take on this. I believe there's a balanced approach. I believe there's two extremes. I believe the balanced approach is, number one, you shouldn't be fat. Number two, you shouldn't be skinny. Number three, there's a certain level of muscle mass you should have as a Muslim. That will give you your optionality with women. That will give you a thing. I believe some people take it too far.
No, there's
a level now where it's like, bro, why are you trying to get even bigger and bigger and bigger now? Like,
it's a maintenance
There's
thing.
a level, no. Some people, no. It's like they've got a goal in their mind that I have to reach a certain number of plates. There's a goal in their mind. I have to do this. Like my point is, get yourself physically able where, number one, you're a threatening presence.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
And by the way,
I agree with you.
That's practical. In terms of
Very
fights,
practical.
you can be the greatest MMA fighter.
It's a great preventative.
But bro,
people
if you're
won't
in
fight
shape, no one's fighting you.
I agree with you.
100%, bro. If you're like a unit, most men aren't on it.
I agree with
I've
you.
seen it.
But I believe the definition of unit, there's a point where it becomes diminishing returns. And unfortunately, a lot of the brothers that we see have fallen into that now, where it's purely just, and I get it. Look, you've become disciplined in something. You've become motivated in something. This thing allowed you to find purpose within life, right? And that's good, and it's needed, and discipline, and you got you in very good shape, etc. But my point is there should be a holistic approach. Likewise, the same with MMA fighting. Once you know how to handle yourself, how to throw a few punches, this, that, and now you're then going to go into the deepest techniques and this and that, which is only really going to help you in a ring when you're fighting with another MMA fighter trying to beat him. I also believe that there's an element of diminishing returns. What I believe is there's a guy that I watch online. He hasn't released a video in over a year, but I remember when I first came across his page, I binged watched his content.
Man, like Jordan.
No. And then I actually went, who's Jordan?
The BJJ guy.
No. And then I actually started looking for, his paid service. The first time I've ever actually gone into the funnel where I'm looking for, how can I pay this guy to either learn more, learn directly from him, or get something from him? And he's not Muslim. He's an ex-SAS or SBS, one of the two, special forces. And he's got a video, right? And I highly recommend everyone go watch it. It's called, I forgot what it's called. I'll maybe link it in the description, right? But the point of it is, he says, look, what you need to do is be hard to kill. Be hard to kill. He's a tank. Like, he's built, he's got muscle, but he can run for kilometers. He can carry heavy weight. He's got very active fitness. It's not static. A lot of this stuff is just static. You're just standing there and you're pushing weights in a very static way. You're not going to be able to, that's not going to help you if a real life situation pops off. I'm not talking about street fights. I'm talking about real life situation. If it pops off, that's not going to be the most useful thing. In your health, in your later years, you need to have a solid foundation. And that's holistic. Your cardio has to be on point. You have to have muscle mass. You can't be a skinny, I'm not saying be a skinny MMA fighter. I'm not saying be a tank that can't move. I'm saying Muslim men, find the middle path. Don't go extreme in either of the two. Become not acceptable, become at least average, because most people in this day and age are below average in both. They can't hit weights, they're weak, and also they can't fight. If you become at least average or slightly above average in both, after that, bro, look for other skills. Upskill yourself in other areas. Don't become obsessed with one.
He's been listening patiently.
We've dealt with a lot of entrepreneurs, right? And it's the same thing. Some of them getting coaching off these guys, and he's like, brother, I don't know why this guy's making me do all this. It's like, I just want to lose weight and I want to look, healthy, and I want to have a bit of mass. Like, all this gym stuff, this guy, like, no normal person is optimizing for that. You only do it. Bodybuilders, they have a career in this thing. It's their job. It's a competition. It's a whole thing. Does that make sense? It makes no sense for an average human being to become to gain a bodybuilder physique. It actually makes no sense.
But it's hard to define that bodybuilder physique. You might be picturing it.
No, because
it's really subjective.
There's weights.
What's your
there's
picture?
Weights that once you cross muscle-wise, it's like, it's not. How does that make sense? Like, average-wise, I'm talking about normal. A man this way, if he's in shape, he should have X, Y, Z. Does that make sense?
And I think a calisthenic way to measure is probably better. Like, if you can do X amount of pull-ups, X amount of push-ups, X amount of dips, based on your body weight,
I'm telling you, these guys can't move. I have friends like this. We have these discussions all the time. A lot of them, they don't have flexibility.
But then you wouldn't call that person fit. They wouldn't be defined. Like, if you gave a bleep test.
Look, I don't have a problem, by the way,
earlier
people
when
who train
you
bodybuilding.
You didn't mention that. You just mentioned...
I mentioned what has the biggest ROI. Being in shape and looking good has a much bigger ROI than being able to fight.
A materialistic ROI. I'm saying
everything, bro.
No, 1 second.
The odds of you getting into a situation.
No, but 1 second.
The ROI is there.
His point can
I'm talking about something else.
No, but 1 second. His point
yeah, but that's also a mad hypothetical.
No, but listen, his point.
You get it? That's a bad hypothetical. Waiting for one day to be prepped for a mad hypothetical.
Guys, 1 second.
No.
I actually don't think there's even a point of difference here.
You could do both.
You
can always do both.
because his
But I'm
point
saying
is...
day to day
I agree with
ROI.
you.
1 second.
But just call it what it is. Just say,
Yeah.
I do aesthetically. Stop posting hadiths in the comments, please. That's all I request.
That's still applies though. The strong believer is more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. That includes
but when we talk about strength,
That is strength, though. That is strength. If you grab a bodybuilder and an average man, average guy's getting smoked. So it's still a level of strength to it.
Are you guys gonna?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So if we're talking about practicality and we're throwing it in the way where they make it seem, which obviously, I'm not going to be able to clearly mention because of, they frame it in that way. Yeah. In that way, their sport is not the main thing. It's not key.
But you frame horse riding that way, and I disagree with that as well. I believe that in this day and age,
but the Prophet said there's literally a hadith about learning horse riding.
I agree, but not. I'm saying not for that, but follow the sunnah. Yeah, if you turn around and say, "Bro, I'm doing it because I want to follow the sunnah," I said, "Okay, amazing."
Okay, let me tell you a secret. I have access to some of the greatest Muslim entrepreneurs and investors in the world that are alive today, and I've been thinking long and hard about how to give you a personalized experience with them. Finally, my team, alhamdulillah, has come up with a solution. Starting from today, every week, you will get your questions on scaling your business and halal investments answered by the best Muslim entrepreneurs and investors, inshallah ta'ala. Think of it like a podcast straight to your email inbox. Each email will give you simple but powerful insights on how to make more halal money. If you're interested, just subscribe at the link below, inshallah ta'ala. It's free.
So my point is, and I agree with that, but I believe that man should learn to do all sorts. Like once
the necessity they create behind it, encourage men to get in shape and to get good. And
I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree.
But I just hate like some of these guys. They make it and they say you have to like please stop. Like please stop making people spend their lives in a gym. I find it so it's so funny.
I agree.
Why is your life spent in a gym? That's sad life.
To get to a certain level. Yeah. After that, go to the next thing. Get to a certain level. Exactly. After that, go to the next thing and maintain the rest. Yes. But learn other sports, learn other things, get into endurance, get into swimming, learn swimming.
So when you die, mashallah, he was big. Safe.
Another element as well is the mental element. And I feel like a lot of people don't give enough time and attention to this. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, there's a show called SAS Who Dares Wins. Basically, they get normal people, like a group of 20 guys, and they'll basically put them through like SAS selection training. Yeah. And back in the days, I remember because I was practicing right near to watch TV, but my dad used to watch this show, and the show, back in the first few seasons, they never had any women in there. But then after a certain year, they had actually allowed women in the special forces. Before, it was only men. Women weren't even allowed in the special forces. Forget the show, in the actual special forces in the UK. And then they allowed it, so then they started letting women in there, and then obviously it got political. But I remember there used to be some, of course, I stopped watching it. And even then,
that's what you wanted to say.
I
have to clarify.
If
I was, socializing with my dad, usually it'd be him watching TV. So if he watching TV, I would leave and then, we'd talk another time. But if this was on, I would stay and I'd chat to him and we'd have a conversation. Exactly. But I noticed they were guys, right? Huge guys. Big, muscular, hench. Yeah. Akhi, some of them were the biggest babies when it came to actually their mental solitude being tested.
And them guys don't eat a thuluth, by the way.
No, but also...
I just wanted to slap that, yeah?
And that's a big
problem. They don't eat with thuluth.
I'm not saying, by the way...
Translate that.
But they don't eat a third. Have you seen what these guys do? They stuff their faces. They can't even breathe.
But guess what? Okay. There was also... I remember there's one MMA fighter, and he was one of the most unfit guys. My point is, there has to be a holistic approach when it comes to these things. You just have to look at how can I keep myself in the best possible shape for everything. Don't just focus on one thing. That's my point. I feel like there's no need for specialization. Unless, of course, if you're going to be a coach or a PT, that's your job.
I'm talking about training aligned with fighting is better than the training aligned with bodybuilding.
I don't think anyone can disagree. And I would agree with that. If I say you have to choose between one or the other, you have to choose between one or the other. And I've done both, by the way. I've done gym inconsistently, albeit,
I've done both, like maths.
And the MMA stuff as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I would say is, personally, this is my personal opinion, I'm happy for people to disagree with me. I would say if you have to choose one or the other, go with the fighting. But one thing I would say though...
I disagree.
One thing I would say though, is that there is an element where I wish, like when I was sparring certain guys, I wish that I was a little bit bigger. I wish, and then that gave me the drive, you know what? Let me hit the gym as well. Let me put on a bit more mass because I was struggling to lift, man. I was struggling to grab, man. I was struggling to... Yeah. So for me, it was like, I need to... And then another element was, bro, my cardio. I was like, bruv, I'm out of breath after like a minute of grappling. Then I was like, bruv, I need to fix my cardio, bruv. I'm not jogging enough. I'm not doing swimming. So then my point is...
But the time though, so you know this holistic thing, yeah? Because I've actually done both. What I'm saying from being a business owner, things like that, you know how hard it is to train MMA, to also make sure you know, if you want to maintain a certain muscle size, right? You know, be on point with your diet, do the right number of weights. I think you lot underestimate what it takes to actually maintain a good physique and balance it with MMA. And this is very time consuming.
I'm not saying do it at the same time,
my brother. It's not as time consuming as you think.
I'm not saying do it at the same time.
I guarantee you. This is the reason people can't maintain it, because they have this big No, you just design it out. It's like
I agree, design it, but
seriously, wallahi, I'm telling you. First of all,
it depends where you're at.
Get a Yusuf.
Well. What's your starting point?
This is a good point as well.
Yusuf.
What's your
Yusuf is going to make all of this easy.
If you're extremely skinny or extremely fat, I would say go to the gym first. Don't go MMA first.
If you're extremely
skinny, once you're average,
go gym.
At the very least, you hit average or just above average, then you can start MMA training.
So can I share my perspective on this?
Go on.
I would also like to put some food in my belly right now. So
go on.
Before I share my perspective, I just want to mention from both sides of the spectrum.
I don't want you to be political. I want you to
say I'm going to be genuine. Yeah,
when I saw, I don't know if you saw the Right to Wish account. I actually liked Big Issa's comment on that podcast when he did it. I didn't realize I was on that account. I thought I was on my own account, but I actually liked it because I didn't disagree with what he was saying, but I do believe there's a middle path that combines the two.
No, I just want to first say that Big Issa is, for me personally, like he's a very remarkable brother. Allah barik. I know him personally. We've done work together as well, mashallah, tabarakallah. And many a time I've watched his videos and I've actually been inspired to let me go get in shape. Period. Let me go gym, wherever it might be.
Yeah.
And Allah barik, he actually is, if I'm not mistaken, the 0.001% of strongest people in the world. I think there's only a few hundred people that can deadlift more than him in the world that are alive today.
Yeah.
Allah barik. The brother's very accomplished in that regard. At the same time, we got our brother Yusuf, mashallah, tabarakallah. And the guy's a kid. I think he's in the 0.001% in terms of people, in terms of fighters at his weight, Allah barik. So both sides of the spectrum, I think the brothers, mashallah, they're very well accomplished. But I'm going to share with you my personal thing. So I've been trying to get in shape for like 20 years. Not trying to get in shape, but trying to get committed to this concept of being fit. And I've tried the gym thing intermittently and I tried the MMA thing intermittently. And I have to say that the gym thing, it just never sat with me, man. And I think one of the reasons was because of how the guys that are trainers, that are coaches, I really resonate with that point that you mentioned. They're all trying to make me like them. And I have no desire. Like, I remember I used to have a brother that would train me, and I used to repeatedly say to him, I actually don't care about the aesthetics. Like, you have to understand. I was like, I'm actually 35 now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, me, like, who am I? Yeah, you want to look good and whatnot, but there's a diminishing return point for me. So I don't know if it was that he was that he couldn't give me another training program, but I just felt like he was trying to make me into him. Do you get me? And that just was not motivating for me. And every guy I spoke to, he just wanted to give me the bodybuilder formula throughout this entire time. No one will give me this is how you be in shape, brother. This is how you be healthy. Right? You're an entrepreneur, you're a dad, you're a student of knowledge. This is how you could be 60, 70 with Allah's permission, 80 if Allah gives me life that long, and you can still be healthy.
Wait,
you can still be doing your thing.
I don't understand that.
I'm saying
the formula doesn't change.
No,
you do it for long enough, you become a bodybuilder.
No, but the formula is it's different in terms of what you're optimizing.
Everything
the question is, what are you optimizing for with your training?
This is objective.
If he wants to be rich, it's about being on a calorie surplus.
There's certain things I just wouldn't.
Hypertrophy, blah blah blah.
Not just that.
Even if you remember,
it just wasn't exciting for me to stick on it. And I have to be honest with you,
that's even why.
Call that an L on my part. Call that a deficiency in my character, no problem, right? But it was a practical reality that I'm going to the gym, not being able to commit to it because it's too much. Now, when it comes to the whole MMA thing, and the reason why it's hard is because, I don't want to go to a place where I strike in the face, so I wasn't really able to commit to anything. Plus, in UK, when we was living in London, a lot of the gyms, bro, I remember I went to one place, and this is back when I just started practicing, they partnered me up with a female, bro. And I was thinking, what? And then the moves they were doing with the guys where you have to mount the person.
Over 15 years.
I never did it, bro. I'm just saying they tried to partner me up with a woman. So I've just started practicing, and the woman is supposed to mount, man. And I said, brother.
A full mount? You're doing BJJ?
Yeah, it was MMA. Yeah. So I was like, listen, I'm out. I can't partner up with a woman. I'm done. I just repented to Allah.
I got trauma.
You know what I'm saying? Point being is though, now what I'm doing right here with the brother, right, Yusuf, right? For me, bro, I can't explain. Like, again, I'm talking about my personal experience. I'm not saying what's right, what's wrong, what's better. I'm saying I love it. Like, it gets me out of bed on a night when I haven't slept properly, and I'm just and it's just like, my thing is, find your thing that's going to help you get in shape. I just want to underline and mention that in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jalla reprimands people that optimize for beauty. People who optimize for aesthetics is actually something that
what are you trying to insinuate by that?
No, as in...
What are you trying to insinuate by that?
I'm about to explain. Yeah. When Allah Azza wa Jalla in Surah Al-Hadid gives the example of the dunya, Allah says, reduces the dunya to, it's just la'ib, it's just play, lahu, just like rubbish talk, az-zina, looking pretty, wat-tafakhur, boasting, بينكم بالأولاد والأموال والأولاد وفي الأولاد والأموال والأولاد, and just like trying to gather money and kids. That doesn't mean don't look good. I'm not saying don't look good. No one wants to marry a girl that's ugly, and no one wants to be an ugly guy who doesn't get the pretty girl. right? And no one wants to not have confidence and be. No, I'm saying there's a level of where it becomes diminishing.
Don't make your mission
Where
vanity.
your whole-
Islamically,
where-
you're not
where-
even supposed
where-
to brush your beard
yeah,
the same
I'm saying-
2 days
Every
in
day.
No, but by the way, what the scholars mention is the middle ground is do it based on your need. Like some people, if they need it, like me, if I don't brush my beard twice a day, bro, I'm gonna look like a madman. Do you get me? So it depends on need. Sheikh Abdullah ibn Salih Fawzan, he explained it when he was explaining the hadith. Point being is that so anyone who optimizes and he gets too deep into that, where everything is just about looking good, that's a problem now. Do you get me? If he does it, like when I spoke with Sam, I was like, why do you bang gym so hard? He's like, it's just for my mind.
Yeah.
It's just my mind. It's just I'm fighting myself. And I love that. That was great. And when I was training with
Discipline and
my PT, one of the things I benefited from so much was the concept of training to failure. That I took that in other parts of my life when I was phenomenal, alhamdulillah. And even when it comes to the MMA thing, I can see how arrogance gets in the way. I can see how brothers would just want to strike in the face. And that's haram. It's got, like, even the fighting thing's got its L's. Let's not just say it's the bodybuilding thing. Do you get me? Like, they're, like, looking pretty is a problem. And optimizing for that. Here, bro, it's just about hitting guys in the face, which is also a major sin, bro. We don't do that. Do you get me? So my point is that there's extremes and there's L's on both sides. Me personally, I don't know. If you want to go gym and you really enjoy the concept of lifting things over and over again, I don't even mean it in a mocking way. I don't, but I just couldn't find joy in that.
but
even me, like right now.
what you're trying to optimize for, though, is
Yeah.
what you're trying. For me, right now, I enjoy MMA. I enjoy jiu-jitsu. I enjoy this way more than gym.
Do you know what I mean?
But the ROI I'd get from gym and dieting is better for me at this moment in time.
For me, the ROI.
But that's personally for me.
So for me, the ROI. For me,
Likewise.
Can I mention something here?
Because I'm
for
also
me-
training only gym right now.
What's it? For me,
Because I'm trying to bulk.
I know, but
Here's the
But I
key
just wanna
thing.
give a
By the
practical
way,
example.
Yusuf gets you to do both. I don't know why everyone's separating it.
I just wanna
Here's
give
the
it-
thing. When
It's what you're trying to optimize.
I just wanna give a practical
You
example.
training
One
and doing
second.
high intensity
One
training
second.
and
No,
but
different.
here's
Trust
my
me,
thing.
you have to do
I
strength
think
and
a lot of people are going
conditioning.
to be able to relate to what I'm saying.
it's
I think
different.
I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to what I'm saying.
And
You know,
hitting the gym.
you're right. Yusuf absolutely helps you do that, right? But I'm completely ignoring that part of his plan, unfortunately. And that strength training Kalam he's giving me, I told him, he said to me, I'm going to make you a diet plan. I said, I don't want to hear it. Like, that's my L. My thing is, when you're a person like me who's struggling to even just do it, brother, if you're playing paddle, right, and you're enjoying it, but you're getting your heart rate up,
So,
and you're getting your cardio up,
stay active.
beautiful. So for me, I found something that I'm telling you, I'm not going to the gym, I'm not turning up to MMA and I'm upset. No, I'm enjoying this. This is fun and it's
100%.
healthy as well. And I'll optimize. I'm going to get to that stage where I start doing the calisthenics and I start,
In terms of enjoyment, I also agree with that. There's nothing that I enjoyed more than the fighting when we were doing.
Yeah.
The gym, I'll be honest with you, I don't really enjoy it. But I
you
do it because
irrespective of how you feel, because of what you think has the better ROI.
What I enjoy actually,
That's the better man.
Funnily
That's
enough,
the better man. Fair play, yeah.
Funnily enough, what I actually enjoy more is the cold plunge at the end of the gym. I actually enjoy that more because that mental element, like that training, I feel like I'm training myself.
By the way, I did both. I just want to clarify.
We're going to end on your point.
Alhamdulillah, I was very, very bulky at one point, keda. And then I also did the MMA thing. Now, I think, look, the MMA thing on the training I do with Yusuf, I wouldn't just even bring it down to just MMA, right? People don't understand that there's so much parts to MMA. Like, you can go gym and you can still be unhealthy, unfit. You can't do MMA and be unfit.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. You can't be unhealthy. I've seen how some of these guys eat, they live. It's disgusting. Don't tell me dirty book kalam. I'm not listening. It's disgusting. Feeling your face, it's Islamically, it's wrong. I don't care what you're trying to look like, right? And it doesn't have to be done. But for me, the way it's packaged and the way it aligns with life, it's just wrong. And I've seen what it's done to people, like these guys, the way they're sleeping and just to focus on what? Safe. It just doesn't make sense.
So,
and my thing with
there's a
MMA,
balance.
MMA is
That's where
where,
you're at.
by the way, you can get bigger with MMA, and I have gotten bigger with MMA, right? It depends where you train. It's not like we're telling you, it's more practical. The moves you're doing as well. I'm telling you, like, put people in strange situations. You'll see the MMA guys can't keep up with strange situations. They're used to certain lifts in certain
You
positions.
mean the
the gym
bodybuilding
guys.
guys, the gym guys.
The gym guys,
You
yes.
said
Sorry.
MMA guys.
Sorry, the gym guys can't lift in certain positions, right? There's things that it's only certain positions they're able to lift in. It's not a practical thing day to day. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. I told you.
So I think this importance is because I feel like when we use the word practical,
Yeah.
the understanding is very different.
Yeah.
He's saying practical in terms of you'll get more respect when you walk into a room, you'll have more
If
haiba.
you and Big
When
Issa
you-
walk into a room, no one's
yeah,
disrespecting Big
Barakallah
Issa.
feek,
Someone might
that's-
feel
you get
comfy
it?
to
That's
say
cool.
something.
That's cool.
That's just real life.
That's cool for the first
If you
10
grew up in
minutes.
the ends, it's
For the
real
first
life,
10
bro.
minutes.
That's
For the
also
first
true.
10 minutes. I've seen, bro,
That's
I
also
make
true.
fun of guys 3 times my size, bro. He's a waste man. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, he may come like this, but internally he's got
But that's a bad
9
ROI because now you got into a fight with someone when he mitigated the whole problem.
So, you know what I'm saying? You're
He's
both,
not gonna fight, man.
you're both right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You're
He's
both
not gonna
But
fight,
no
man.
one's tried it with
He's not
mine.
gonna
You-
fight,
you-
man.
you're both
But
right.
understand my
You're both
point.
right.
I'm saying that this whole thing
I
of
hear
just
it.
No,
aesthetics,
absolutely.
bruv, if there's no substance to it, man, you can look as aesthetically pleasing as you like. You're a nice looking guy. That's an idiot. That doesn't change with
agree.
muscles.
yeah.
Can I get some food in my belly?
Have every element of it. Be
Same.
be intellectually superior, be physically superior, be violently superior, be marksmanship superior. That's very important as well. A lot of people feel like neglect that.
If you're trying to build something in this dunya that takes you to Jannah, that causes impact in this world, I just do not see how lifting heavy things in strange positions and stuffing your face will help you do that. That's just my thing. May Allah bless you guys. I'm optimizing for something different. If you want to look nice, fat and massive, barakallahu feek. If you want to walk into a room and be respected because of how much you deadlift, barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you. But I personally think that's dead. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just my personal
You
opinion.
are entitled to your personal
perfect,
opinion.
perfect. It's a fact.
With that
as well,
said,
but-
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته